Mm, Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Qiaoqiao Yong, a new PhD of H manual. I just started my PhD journal 8 weeks ago, so at very beginning stage. My supervisor is Professor Jian, Dr. Daniel Oteng, and Dr. Prince Antwi-Afari. Today, I want to show you my research towards sustainable development, a data-driven approach to classifying urban construction metabolism pathways and mapping them to sustainable targets. Okay, next I will introduce my research around the following 4 paths. As we know, as we know, with the acceleration of the urbanization, cities worldwide consumes nearly 40% of natural resource, accumulates massive building stocks, and generated large amounts of greenhouse gases, gas and solid waste. So that's not only fails to use resource efficiently, but also cause the serious damage to the environment. So it is essential to strengthen the sustainable management in construction industry. However, current sustainable research focus on single buildings, focus on the green design, energy saving, and waste management. The lack of a broaden urban metabolizing perspective. So let's look at the city as a whole system. So what's exactly the urban metabolism? Urban metabolism was first introduced by Abel Woman in 1965. It described how cities consume, transfer, and discard resources through their material, bones, and muscles, buildings and infrastructures. Because urban buildings undergo dynamical cycles of construction, operation, renewal, and demolitions across different time and place. So applying the metabolizing concept to urban construction is very interesting. It helps us understanding the dynamic flows of materials and energies in buildings, and identify how to maximize the benefits of sustainable management measures. And through the literature review, I found that cities at different development stages show clearly different in the resource input, metabolism efficiency, and environmental impacts. Therefore, urban construction metabolism can be classified into different pathways, and such as the one summarized in the table. As we can see from the table, current urban metabolism studies are applied in many fields, with the largest share in resource management and police. However, most of these studies focus on one single metabolic flows, such as building materials, carbon emissions, or water resource. And they look and integrates multi-flow perspective to assess how different metabolism pathways affect urban sustainability. Currently, many studies use material flow analysis, ecologic footprint analysis, and energy analysis to analyze urban metabolism. While this method can clearly describe how efficient and the potential of resource use. They lack the ability to capture the spatial and the temporal dynamic of materials flows. With the rise of the digital technologies, these gaps can potentially be filled. For example, remote sensing can provide the spatial information on how urban buildings changes over time, and the AI can build more accurate predictive models of urban buildings changes using big data. So based on this, there are two obvious research gaps. First, it looks and integrates multi-flow perspective to assess how different metabolic pathways influence the sustainability of urban construction. Because sustainability is shaped by different factors, and integrate them into a comprehensive system is essential for accurate measurements. And the third is it looks a dynamic perspective to assess how changes in different metabolism pathways affect the sustainability of urban construction, because the urban construction metabolism is cyclical. It requires the dynamical monitoring to capture how intervention reshape its pathway and influence sustainability. So my research question is, how can urban construction metabolism pathways be effectively classified? And how can the impacts of subsequent sustainable intervention on this pathway be evaluated? So to address this question, the research aims to develop a data-driven framework to dynamic assess and classify urban construction metabolism and evaluate the sustainable management interventions. To achieve it, I divided the research aim into two objectives. The first is identify the urban buildings metabolism pathways. For example, just use the GIS remote sensing and AI to track how urban buildings grows changes and are replaced in the cities, and the second build a framework for regional comparisons. This is aimed to compare how sustainable different urban construction metabolism pathway are, and found what drivers their difference. And the last one is to use scenario simulation to assess the impact of intervention. That means simulate how different intervention changes current metabolism pathways and found the best completions. So that's all. Thank you for your.
Are there any questions or comments?
Hand up because I didn't see any other hands. No, but no, I think to me it's really exciting that you look at kind of the big picture of actually what cities, I guess produce and use, and that flow of those materials and energy, and so to me it's exciting also to have a kind of construction management perspective on that. So yeah, so I'm really curious to hear where that goes. And I guess one question I had, just for myself, is how you manage that sort of tension between it being so kind of a large scale, project with so many different, I guess, types of information, and yeah, so it's it's huge, right?
Yeah.
But I guess that's part of the ambition. So I understand that that's also the ambition to do that. But then how do you manage that for your PhD, that it's still you can still have outcomes that meaningful outcomes, and so I'm curious to see how you approach that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a great question, because as I said, I just started my PhD at very beginning stage. So the research question is very large. Actually, I want to actually I will make my research skills more details. Maybe focus on the materials. Maybe focus on the energies flow. Not to finish the whole. So I think it's a good question that I will thinking after that.
Thank you. So this is sort of slightly answered by what you just said, but I was interested in the idea of the dynamic flows of the things through the city's metabolism.
Yeah.
And how changes in one material flow might change other material flows, like someone using a lot of water for a process that produces a lot of concrete, for instance, or something along those lines, and how you were thinking about addressing that, and whether you have any intuitions about the types of things that might interact in those dynamic flows. I mean, it's okay. I feel like too early for that, but it was just what was coming into mind when I was thinking about that as a problem.
Okay, thank you. So far, I think I just want to explore the urban buildings how many materials materials are input, and the flow, what is the flow, where the materials go, and after the materials is transferred the building, and the people will use the building, and how many years we used, because the materials can be recycled, and if we can know how many materials is stocked, the building of the cities, so we can know, maybe some older buildings will be demolished soon, and if we know this information, we don't need to use the new natural resource. We can recycle these materials, and after that, it can help me improve the sustainability. Yeah. Yes.
Any final questions, comments, observations?
Thanks, Qiaoqiao. Given how early you are in your research, rather than really diving deep into one tiny aspect of it, this could be a really good opportunity to consider looking at it more holistically and from a policy influencing output, for especially if this is a new lens to measure sustainability of buildings or of the entire system as you're looking at it. So something to consider as you refine your research question. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
No further questions? Okay, thank you, Qiaoqiao.